Hello. Oh yeah. Got to start recording locally. Do something with these files. I should do that today. Put those together. Hey, Ian Dave. Not great. I'm in a bad way, but I am happy to be streaming. Thank you for asking though. Yeah, I'll wait just a couple minutes see if people get in, and then we'll do some recap, looking at my notes, and then we will continue our adventures. It is the first evening. It's 7:05 p.m. on day one on Grimrock Isle on Monday. So we have a week. Yeah. I'm excited to get back to the Isle. The or Dove's Bay. It's called Grimrock Isle, but it's actually Dove's Bay is what we're in. Uh, Hopefully today we will get off this stinking isle and get over to cool places like the cemetery and the actual isle itself, which I think tomorrow, Tuesday, in game might be a good day to try that, to try to get over to the isle and see, check out the old house. So to review, I'm looking at my notes here. So the way this game works is you gather research points, and that's hey, thanks for checking in. I'm looking forward to it too. Hopefully we'll get to some real spooky shit this time. We have to find. We're investigating for a real estate agent, the Grimrock Manor, or Grimhouse Manor. The way the game works is we are getting research points by doing things, and then at the end of the game, whenever we decide to report in to Mr. Armbruster, we can. And depending on how many research points we have, that determines our ending. He gave us $100. We have $100. We have the keys to the place. Um, Things we have learned. So the manor itself was partially destroyed in a fire. With these unsavory customers, they said they were bringing in Polynesians, which I'm pretty sure is code for fishmen in this, and there were no bodies here. Willard Loomis is the suspect of instigating this assault. It was on Grim Manor. It was a class war. People on the island were sick of these rich people coming in and having these kind of summer retreats. And so he's suspected of calling this. Willard Loomis is suspected of instigating that assault and of causing the storm on All Hallows Eve, which killed 6 people. There is a specific cult here in Dove's Bay that is said to be led by one of these wealthy elites. So this revenge, the elites, the wealthy people, are the cultist, not the people doing the assault. 3 years prior to this fire, Grimm's warehouse housed a gathering of Dagon cultists. And I have 6 names who are arrested. So I'm going to be, or not more than 6. I got 8 people. It looks like they're arrested. So that's why I got to check out what's going on there if I see any of those names. And Grimm was suspected of a kidnapping at the time, which I'm guessing is some kind of human sacrifice. And the sheriff is named Otis Yates, and he kicked us out of things. So if you recall, when we left off, I had just gone to the tavern. I had eaten the pie at the Seaside Tavern, which is a bad idea. Lost a permanent point of constitution, and hopefully has no other consequences. And now it is 7:05 p.m. day one. Have not spent any money yet. My boarding is taken care of. So the boarding house, I can still go there to sleep, but the business hours are closed. I have to sleep. I've had 1 meal today. I have to have 2 meals. And you have to sleep 6 hours a day. I think I'm still at the tavern. The idea was I'm going to talk to some tavern people, if I recall, which is on 24. Seaside Tavern. Just for a piece of apple pie, go to 72. If not, go to 91. We could just sit here and eat pie over and over and just lose until we get down to 0 constitution and die from pie, which is a funny way to suicide in this game. If this was a video game, there'd be an achievement for pie die. Okay. Here, so we are in the tavern. We're killing time. It's 7:05 p.m. and since we're RPing this, our Professor Phineas Knott will decide to do a little bit of relaxing here. What's your pleasure? Will you join the 4 ruffians playing cards, go to the bar and try to strike up a conversation, or sit and observe? I may attempt each action just once per visit. I'm going to want to do all those things. So let's... card sounds like it might get me hurt. Let's do these in reverse order. So let's end with cards, and the RP justification is that Phineas will have some drinks and get up his courage. So let's observe first and see if there's any suspicious characters here in the bar. This takes 15 minutes of observing, so let me go ahead and mark the time. And okay, which one was it? God, I'm losing my memory. 60 minutes is a spot hidden. I saw that. Oh, okay. 60. A man seated in the shadows draws your attention because of the bright red cap he's wearing. Let's do a spot hidden roll. So, to remind everybody, the way that a spot hidden roll, let me move my windows around here on my desktop so I can keep chat open, works is I'm rolling a percentile dice, which 2d10s, and trying to get below my spot hidden. I gave myself a pretty good spot hidden because this is not my first rodeo. I've run a lot of games of Call of Cthulhu, and it is the most important skill. Easily made it. I got a 57 on a spot hidden. So, spot hidden, we get 1 research point, which brings our total to 47. And let's see what's going on with Catman. He's the Catman! Success, go to 7. Okay. Though you cannot see his features, you are certain the man has been watching you. Whoever this fellow is, he has realized that he's been found out and makes for the door. You can follow him or do something else. Oh, we gotta follow this guy, right? Like that's adventure. We've got a pistol. So it comes down to it. Let's follow this guy. We can always come back to the bar. The bar's open till midnight. So if we sleep from midnight to 6 a.m., that's not bad. Okay. We follow him out, turn to 43. Let's hope we don't die, guys. Was it 43? That's weird. It doesn't look like the text follows. Let me make sure I read that right. Yeah, 43. Okay. 43 begins. Furtive footsteps behind you. You whirl about to see a dark figure vanish behind a stack of lobster traps. So we're being followed as well. You investigate, but your unwelcome shadow is nowhere to be seen. Spot hidden. So this is another 15 minutes here. 7:35 p.m. The ditching hour. This guy's ditched us. Spot hidden. I've got and 51. So easy spot hidden. And success 15. Maybe we didn't want to spot hidden there. Maybe we didn't want to see this guy. Okay, it doesn't end. There's the end right above this, so I just had a scary moment of like, oh well, this was fun. You are certain the person following you wore a distinctive red knit cap. You will know it if you see it again. Move cautiously on your way to 73. Okay, so and I get 2 research points for that because knowing that the red cap gang are involved is useful. So I'm gonna cautiously turn the page to 73. I may now proceed to any Doves Bay location. Okay, so following him, I couldn't catch him, but I did get that clue. It's only 7:35, so I'm gonna go to the bar again. and maybe check out those ruffians get rolled and die. So Does Bay Tavern is 24. It's going to take another 15 minutes to get back there, I'm sure. I think 91 is the one that gives you the, it's if you say no to pie. Let me see if I'm right about that. And if I remember that, I can skip a step. It's not cheating, because I'm still going to mark the time. Yeah, 91 is, so I should keep that in mind. So it's 7:50 p.m. 91 is the tavern general thing. That was me looking at people, which presumably I could just kind of do in a loop as well, and just kind of continually rack up research points at the cost of a half hour per 2 research points, but 2 spot hidden successes, so that's not good. Let's strike up a conversation. Let's see if these guys are friendly to locals. I'm sure they are. 49. The men at the bar are friendly enough, but on the subject of Grimrock Isle, they have little to say. This is a fast talk roll. I think I have some points in fast talk. 35%, so I'm not likely to make this, but we'll see if I do. I can, you probably can't see this on there. I got an, yeah, there you go, 10. So I got an 11, which is an unusual for fast talk. So good. Success, 87. And this is also going to get me 15 minutes of chatting up these drunken businessmen. So 8:05, the evening is just melting away. We're having a grand old time at the bar. The house is haunted, you are told. We see lights moving around in the mansion sometimes when we were night fishing. Place is full of ghosts, and nobody goes there unless they want to become one of them. Another, so that gives me 3 research points. So now I know that it's spooky. And I get another opportunity to make a fast talk. Let's see if my luck will hold. And it takes another 15 minutes. Jeez, oh, pizza. 8:20 p.m. So just 1 in 3 chance of that. The last digit 7. 47. So failure, unfortunately. So I did not do that, which means I can now go back to the bar, and let's see what playing cards is like. Let's go to 20 and see if we don't die or lose all our money. We have $100, so that's okay. It's a little mini game. That's cool. As long as you can afford it, you can play. Each hand will take 15 minutes and will require a luck roll from each player. The player with the lowest roll wins the hand and a pot of 1d10 quarters. No talking is allowed at the table, save for bidding. Your opponent's luck are 55%, 70%, 45%, 75%. What is our luck? Luck stat. I luck 70, so we have pretty good odds. You guys need to play a round of poker? Let's try it once and see. I want to get that 1d10 quarters. I'm going to go down and play Street Fighter. Okay. So, everybody makes a luck. Whoever has the lowest luck wins. It's crazy it's the lowest roll, even though they have those different lucks. So the roll doesn't actually matter. It's just whoever has the lowest roll in percentages. So that's kind of a bummer. I feel like there's something to that. In later editions of Call of Cthulhu, they add like a separate percentage if you get like a critical success. Like if you do 1/5 of your thing, of your total amount, or if you do half. That seems more likely it would be a good mechanic for this, but I'm not going to question it because it's a mini game. So we'll roll for myself first. 86. So I didn't make my luck roll, and someone's definitely going to win. Second dude got 20. Third dude got 54. Fourth dude got 38. And the final guy got 59. So the second dude, who has 55 luck, won 1d10 of my quarters. And that is 2 quarters. He won himself 2 shiny bits, which means I now have $99.50. $99.50. Okay. Well, that's kind of a, not that great. So that's what we can do at the bar. we're kind of there, but it was worth it. We got some research points. Let's see where we can go now. It is 8:35 p.m. What is open? There are people we could investigate, but we can't investigate them. Indicates this is available from the start. So these are names I know from them being victims of that thing. I wonder if I can go investigate them now that I've heard of them. I would think that you can. So like I've got two names on here. I've got Jebediah Waddles and Clovis Block, who are two people who are arrested in that warehouse gathering. So I think like having heard of them, I feel like I should be able to go check them out. The rules are not explicit about that. What do you guys think who are watching? What are your judgment calls? Do you think that those people, because they're in a directory, it's not like something that's just going to be through the choose your own adventure. They're in like the front page that shows me like all the different places I can go. And then they're at the bottom. They just don't have asterisk by them, which means I can't go from the beginning. But I think and also I've had a couple drinks. Like it seems like I might go check out these cultists, call on them at an unfortunate hour because I'm, in my cups. That's the logic I want to use. What are your thoughts? Like, do you guys feel like that's cheating? Otherwise, like I kind of have to go to bed. I can go to the church and go to the doctor, which I'm sure is to pay to repair damage. Sam Bear is into it, checking out the cultist. Let's do that. Again, we're aiming for a midnight bedtime. Let's go check out this first guy. Let's go check out Jebediah Waddles and hopefully not die. Page 35 or entry 35 rather, or 34. Okay, 34. Man, a bunch of these are right next to ones that say the end, and I keep thinking like, oh, well, god damn it. I'm so used to the computer takeover. The door to this quaint little cottage opens at your knock, and Jebediah Waddles greets you with a warm smile. He's a pleasant sort who lets you get around to the reason for your visit in your own good time. Do a fast talk roll. Okay, pretty good at fast talk. Critical hit. 9 total. So this takes 5 minutes. And going to 59 for success because Waddle seems like a friendly dude. I'm sure everything is as it seems. Can't say I can help you much, Waddle explains over coffee. My grandpappy was a nasty piece of work all around, but as to what might have been going on the Isle, I really couldn't say. Nothing good, you can bet. Had to do with devil worship. Something like that. Okay, so we sit down and chat with him for 15 minutes, and we get a luck roll now. My luck is 70, as established in the doomed poker game. My Cthulhu Mythos score is actually not 99, as it shows on here. That's a mistake with the thing. I should have. I don't think I can put points in. Well, no, my sanity is not 0. Okay, can I undo that? Okay. Let's put this at 99 again. Okay. So yeah, my Cthulhu Mythos should be not 99. My sanity is equal to your power times 5, I think, which is 70. That's frustrating. This little character sheet thing. Okay. Making my luck roll. 44. So that makes it. So success. Go to 30. And this is. Oh, and I got 5 research points for that as well. 57 RP 230. If you think it will help, I can let you read the old boy's diary. kept it in the trunk in the attic all these years and almost threw it out. Now I'm glad I didn't. Oh, baby. That's what I want. So 5 minutes again. So it's now 9 p.m. Getting to the sleeping hour. We have one research point for that. And it wants another luck roll. I hope I succeed in this because I should like to read that diary. Yeah, easy. 6. Okay. Success 97. Hopefully it drives me insane. Like, I want to lose some sanity points. There are rules for insanity in this, and you gain like different phobias that stop you from doing different things. 97. All right. Cultist diary time. The diary of Jebediah Waddle's grandfather tells of a secret cult formed by Lazarus Grimm. The cult worshipped an unnamed sea god, it's Dagon, and its spawn, hinting that there are certain instances of intermingling that occurred between the cultist and the unwholesome deity's less than human minions. What impresses you most about the author's admiration of Grimm? What impresses you most is the author's admiration of Grimm's determination to see his grand design come to fruition despite all the obstacles intervening, even unto death itself. Thanking Mr. Waddles, you take your newfound knowledge with you. That took 60 minutes, which is pretty intense. However, I got a whopping 25 research points for that. That owns 10 p.m. So we are dealing with, looks like a cross between the Shadow over Innsmouth and the case of Dexter Ward. 25 research points. That's a spicy meatball. Okay. Doing some math. 75. 83 research points is our total now, which might be the first one where you don't get the absolute embarrassing ending if you quit. Go to, where we go? Yeah, go to 73, which I think is the one that lets us just go anywhere. Yeah, so it's 10 p.m. We only have to sleep for 6 hours. I'm not looking to sleep for longer. Let's visit the other cultist. Let's visit Clovis Bloch at 2. Responding to your knock is a tall, and it's like 10 p.m. Like this is some real classic drunk professor not. Responding to your knock is a tall, gaunt man of sallow complexion and intermediate years who admits to the name of Clovis Bloch. He is neither hostile nor hospitable and does not invite you in. Fast talk. 13. Easy. So takes a little bit of time to do that fast talk. 5 p.m. Okay. Success 101. I'm a simple man, Clovis informs you gruffly. I don't hold with blowing air or scraping to some sea demon like my grandpap had done. Never could understand what that crazy old man wanted with the likes of Lazarus Grimm. Grandpap, he'd tell me stories when we was alone about some bunch of things he called the great old ones, and how one of 'em could make a man wealthy and powerful beyond his dreams. Ask me, hard work and honest living's the only way to make a buck. He called this thing Cthulhu or something like that. Hinted that Lazarus Grimm was going to call this thing up from the past. That's all I know about it. You want to buy a chicken? Thanking Clovis and declining his offer. Oh, I don't get to buy the chicken. You head off thoughtfully to 73. So this takes 15 minutes to hear the name Cthulhu there. And we get 20 research points. So we are killing it in the research point thing. This is going to slow down as we run out of stuff to investigate. Yeah, these people are very nice. Well, I'm making good rolls. So like in the fiction, I'm convincing them to talk to me. But the cool thing there is I get 1 Cthulhu Mythos point. So if I roll a critical hit, I can know the book will tell me what a Bayaki is. God damn, why does I keep changing my sanity with it? So your sanity is your maximum Cthulhu Mythos. Your Cthulhu Mythos is not your maximum sanity. I think that there are two things mixed up on this thing. Okay, so we can go anywhere we want. It's now 10:20 p.m. We've investigated both the cultist. I don't want to go to the cemetery or anything too spooky this night because I don't have a good reason to yet. My thinking is that we will go back to the library. The library and the Hall of Records, I think, are the two places we didn't do everything. Or no, we did everything at the library. We didn't do everything at the Hall of Records. Hall of Records is for tomorrow. Newspaper? Did we go to the newspaper? We went to the newspaper. I don't think we went to City Hall. I think it's worth checking out City Hall tomorrow. I'm just planning City Hall. And then we can look at going to the boat rental place and renting a boat to actually check out the house itself. And I think that will be cool and spooky. It'll probably end up being the last thing that we do on this episode. But I don't want to go to sleep just yet. Is there anything open at night that is worth it? Because then we're sleeping too much. We can go to the church. Maybe the church will be spooky. It's open 24 hours. Let's check out the church. Okay. The Doves Bay Church. If you're visiting, enter at 98. If you require sanctuary, enter 48. I love it. I do not require sanctuary. Let's go to 98. But that's tells us something that might come up in the future there. 98. I just want to see what kind of dark gods you worship. Father McFarlane welcomes you a warm welcome, or offers you a warm welcome. The writing is slightly better than that. And any assistance he is capable of giving. You may do one of the following per visit. I can ask the good father about Grimhouse, or ask for his blessing. And this takes 15 minutes. I'm going to ask him about Grimhouse because in the fiction, the RP version of me, I'm just starting to get spooked out by the Red Cap gang or what have you. I'm not actually scared enough to ask for his blessing yet or seek sanctuary. So let's ask Father O'Farlane about the Grimhouse. The father's cheerful expression clouds. I'm afraid I can't help you there. I know very little about the place or the people who live there. Psychology roll. Success or failure. And this is 15 minutes to try to pull this out of him. I'm pretty good at psychology if I remember. I'm okay at psychology. 50-50 shot. 15 minutes to give you a blessing. 10. My dice are on fire. It's going to seem like I'm cheating. I don't have a reason to cheat. I'm just very lucky today. So 56 success. And see that this guy's lying through his fucking collar. 56. He's not being entirely truthful. Could he be hiding something? Some dark and terrible secret? I can try a fast talk or oratory. Oratory does not show up on here, but last time we house ruled that as persuasion. So my persuade is 50. My fast talk is 35. So I'd rather persuade. Either way, it takes 15 minutes to convince him. This will be the last thing we do tonight for day one. And we have to eat, actually, before we go to bed, too. So we'll go, after this, we have to go to the tavern. So it'll take some extra time. That's okay. We'll end up getting a start around 7 a.m. tomorrow. Okay. 50-50 chance on the old fast talk. 38. Success, 75. This is actually kind of underlining one of the problems with the game, with Call of Cthulhu, the tabletop game, which is a game I dearly love, is that when you fail one of these rolls, the game has a tendency to dead end at stuff. Like the GM has to be very aware of how to improvise around those kind of things and still give enough hooks. So luckily I'm making these rolls, but if I wasn't, you can see how this kind of mirrors how it would work if it didn't work. How it would work if it didn't work. Okay. There are troubled spirits in that house, Father McFarlane whispers reluctantly. It is possible that the answers to your questions lie with him. It is clear that he knows more, but you'll have to return another time to coax the information out of him. Okay, interesting. 15 minutes to hear that. And I got 5 research points, which puts me at 108. Not bad for day one, I think. And we will take the 15 minutes to go to the bar. Then it takes an hour to eat. And then we take the 15 minutes to go to the boarding house and sleep for 6 hours. So that's an hour and a half. 7.5 hours from now is when we will be back up. And 7.5 hours from now is 6:50 a.m. So when we'll wake up. I'll be nice to my character and let him sleep in until 7 a.m. Okay, it is now 7 a.m. Let me put a day 2 marker there. Day 2. I didn't really take any like notes there because what we learned pretty much like notes. It's Cthulhu. Dagon cult ? Yeah, we got a lot of research points, but not a lot of like actual actionable stuff that we didn't already know. Okay, day 2. It is early morning, 7 a.m., bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. The things I wanted to do today were go to the Hall of Records, do the rest of that, do City Hall, and then rent a boat out to the actual Grimrock Isle. The boat's available 24 hours a day. I don't think we'll actually do that much. Maybe it's worth going to the church and getting a blessing before we do that, but I feel like RP wise, maybe that's not where we're at yet. So let's try City Hall first. City Hall is 96. I'm just checking to make sure there are any hours we have to consider. I don't think there are. City Hall, page 96. Our character is now mildly hungover, but otherwise bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Okay. City Hall. The legal records of Dove's Bay are well ordered and reasonably well preserved, dating back well beyond the 1840s. For every half hour you spend searching through the town records, you may make a library use roll, up to 6 total rolls. For each roll you make, consult the entry for which you made the roll, and then return here for further research. You may return another time to try for rolls you missed, but you cannot make the same roll twice. If you know the name Jeffrey Thomas Ridley and would like to learn something about him, do this. I do not know that name, I don't think. I don't think he's on the cultist list. Yeah. I can't remember if we did this or if we did the... Let me look real quick and see what the entry is for Hall of Records, because maybe we went to City Hall and not Hall of Records last time. And I feel like we would have went to both. We had a pretty full day, but I should have marked those down. City Hall. Oh, there is no. We did do this. We didn't do everything in it. We went to everything in the library is what I'm thinking of. Okay. So we make a library use roll. For this is the first thing, which is 70. It's pretty good. So 21. So we make it, and then we roll 1d6, which means I have to get out my 1d6, and it is spend a half hour. So 7:30 a.m. And get out my Monster My Podcast branded dice bag here. And get out a d6. 2. 2, go to entry 25. Okay. You may read handout G17. Let's make sure I haven't read that, and I get 3 research points. Yeah, in all of the Call of Cthulhu games I've run, I've never actually used Cthulhu. So I feel some kind of misplaced sense of pride about that. Okay, so let me write down the research points, then I'll get into this. It is 111 research points at this point. Accident report. This accident report, being dated on the 12th day of the year of 1845, pertains to the sudden and accidental death of one Alma Grimm, wife of Lazarus Grimm, a local landowner. Mr. Grimm has stated and attested that on the above-mentioned date, he and his wife were out on the bay for a day's... Oh, hold on a second. Close my blinds. My landlord's out about. I can't have somebody watch me game. Okay. Mr. Grimm has stated and attested that on the above-mentioned date, he and his wife were out on the bay for a day's sail on the family yacht. Fuck these people. Hit by sudden and unexpected high seas, the couple attempted to bring the ship about and return it to the dock at Grimrock Isle. In the process of performing said action, Mrs. Alma Grimm was washed over the side of the vessel, and Mr. Grimm testifies that by the time he was able to reach the rail where she had fallen, his wife had vanished beneath the waves. She was not seen again by Mr. Grimm. Upon being informed of this disaster, I, Sheriff Otis Yates, did form and organize a search party to set forth onto the area where Mr. Grimm stated the accident occurred, there to undertake a rescue. Mrs. Grimm was not found that day. Addendum. The search for the body of Mrs. Alma Grimm was extended for a period of 3 full days, but the search party was unable to locate any trace of the missing woman. All evidence was weighed, and it was ruled that the disappearance of Mrs. Alma Grimm could be recorded as a tragic accident. It was so recorded on this date. I hereby attest and affirm the facts as stated in the above report, in witness of which I affix my signature, thereby discharging my duties as Sheriff of Dove's Bay. Okay. So, I'm going to jot that down. Alma Grimm, Lazar Russ's wife, died at sea, possible suspicious circumstances. Sheriff Otis Yates. Sheriff Yates possibly in on it. Okay. That's worth 3 research points to me. I think like it's probably a good idea to kind of spend the morning doing these researches. So let's make another library use roll. We've already done entry 2. I think we did one of them last time, but I can't remember what it is. Easy success on the research. 8 a.m. 1d6. 5. That's number 21. If it's one we already read last time, I'm going to assume my character didn't accidentally research the same thing twice. I think that is a silly mechanic. So 21. These pages are like the paper is very thin. Okay. You may read handout G10 and get 10 research points. Okay. Give me these handouts. These are all sheriff reports in this section of the handout, so. All right. Sheriff's report. October 13th, 1900. Reported to be missing on this date, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Tolleford and 4 household servants, all recently occupying the property commonly referred to as Grimrock Isle. The report was made by Mr. Joseph Waxted, a friend of the family who owns property here on the mainland. Having had no word from the Tollefords for over a week, Mr. Waxted took alarm and came to inform me of his fears. I instructed Deputies Clemmer and Johansson to investigate the matter, and they promptly rode out to Grimrock Isle to pay call on the Tollefords. They returned to report that the Tollefords and their servants were nowhere to be found, and there were no signs that they had packed to leave the property for an extended period. All furnishings were found intact and undisturbed, and all 3 of the estate boats were found still tied to the docks of the boathouse. Yet, despite a thorough search of the property, no trace of the Tollefords could be found. Alarmed by this turn of events, I returned to the island with Deputy Clemmer to conduct a closer inspection of the property. We found nothing at all that would help explain this disturbing mystery, but in the master bedroom I did find a half-completed letter apparently written by Mrs. Tolleford, which contains the following passage. I feel so listless and worn of late, as if the strength were being drained from my body. I know Richard feels the same, though he will not admit it. I do not like this house. I feel if we remain here, it will consume us. I do not present this as evidence of any kind. It is, however, this is back to the sheriff, I think. I do not present this as evidence of any kind. It is, however, the last known communication by any of the Tollefords or their servants, and as such deserves inclusion in this report. It is my suspicion that Mrs. Tolleford could not tolerate the isolation imposed on one who must live on an island cut off from mainstream society, and I fear that the strain of it would prove too much for her, forcing her into some kind of terrible and tragic action. I doubt I shall ever be able to prove any of this, but I will continue the investigation. And this is signed by Lawrence Bathurst, the sheriff at the time. Pretty cool. Okay. So former people who lived in Manor Grimrock were Mr. and Mrs. Tolleford. Draining effect went missing. Oct 13, 1900. Sheriff Bathurst. Reported by Mr. Waxted. Okay, like it. Let's do a little bit more of this. I'm interested in these sheriff reports, and then I think I'm getting thirsty for Isle. Actually, we got a week. I think that in a role playing fashion, learning about this draining effect and stuff could theoretically make my character curious enough to go down to the boathouse and rent a boat. I think at this point, and then maybe we'll end on something cool, some action in this episode. So let's see what going to the boathouse thing. And there might be an economic reason we can't do this. Oh, there's a bait and tackle as well. We can go to. I wonder if there's a fishing mini game in this. But we want to go to the boat rentals, page 28. And this way we're going during the day as well, in case that matters. And, for spooky reasons, my character would probably do that. 28. Enos Wade's boat rental. Enos is a crusty old salt who will never turn down the chance to make $1. For $25, which is significant, he'll ferry you across the Bay to Grimrock Isle. You want me to pick you back up? You light the lamp on the island dock, and I'll be back in an hour or so. It'll cost another $25. Whenever you're ready, go to 76. So that's half our money to head over there. So it depends on, I'm going to do like a chat cheating check. So when I rolled up my character, I made an amazing roll as far as I have $100 that the dude gave me. I started with like $1,000 because I made a really lucky roll when I created this character on things. So what do you guys think? Like, I kind of feel like I should be able to afford to do this travel and it will make for a more fun stream. I think within the rules of the game, I might be trying to stay within that budget. But yeah, taking half the money to get out to the Isle makes me feel like it's something you shouldn't be doing until the end of the game, but I really want to see what's out there. So even if it might kill us, I'm going to say we do it. We're going to take this from our savings because in the role-playing of this, Professor Phineas Knott has gotten personally invested in the mystery. He's curious enough that he wants to go on his own, and he's being smart. He's going out at 8 a.m. During the daytime, and is not is being responsible. So we'll say we will head that way. So 76 is when we will make the. Yeah, it is dumb that he made so much money. The way that I justified it was that him being a professor, he does for joy because it's part of his retirement. He made all his money before that. Okay, let's head on over to that Isle. The crossing will take half an hour. During this time, you may start up a conversation with the taciturn boatman. Takes 30 minutes, so it'll be 8:30 a.m. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, and then so let's try this fast talk and see if I can get the taciturn boatman to open up. Yeah, 32 or 7. Let's see what the taciturn boatman says. I may read out handout GI3, and then there's another opportunity, and I get 2 research points. Okay, 1, 2, 3 research points. Handout G3. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of these stories. You have to get them progressively. Like if you keep succeeding in fast talks, you get more and more stories from this taciturn boatman. I just have the first one though here. Okay. Enos Wade's first story. I remember a few years back, old Zeke McCabe and his boys were coming back from a day's trawling when Zeke spotted this light out on the island.
Well, they were heading out into the bay, and they'd be coming near the place anyway, so I decided to have a look-see. Old Zeke, he figured one of them Boston big shots had gotten himself stranded out there and was screaming for help. Well, sir, they hove to and made for the old dock on the island, putting on a little speed so they could get to themselves out there and back before dark. They were about 100 yards off the island when all of a sudden Zeke's boat gives this real powerful lurch, and she's hit a submerged rock or something. Problem was, every rock in the bay's been charted, and there ain't one out there around Grimrock. About now, Zeke's had enough, and the light he spotted had gone out anyway. Zeke wasn't a man to risk his livelihood over some fool tourist, so he comes hard about and makes for home. That night, they looked over the hull for damage. My folks lived right nearby, so I went over to help them out. Water was still warm from the summer, so I didn't mind. There wasn't much damage, really, but what was there was real strange. We were diving at night by lantern light, but still, as sure as I'm standing here, there were 4 marks running the length of starboard, and they were scratch marks, half an inch deep and made by hand about 3 feet across. That's why folks around here don't care to come out to Grimrock, and that's why it costs $25 to take you there.
Okay. Pretty cool. So Zeke McCabe tried to go to island. 3 foot across, claw marks. Pretty spooky. That's a diggin'. Okay. So we do another fast talk here, and this is how we get more and more stories from this taciturn seaman. No, 92. So failure. 231. You stand for a pensive moment, watching Enos Wade's boat dwindle in the distance before turning to stalk gingerly up the slippery island dock. Walking along the slime-slick platform, you become acutely aware of the cloying air of evil which grips the isle. The gloom beneath the gnarled pines seems unaccountably dark, and you can barely make out the nearby forking path. The left fork will take you to 252, while the right takes you to 30, or 300. It takes 5 minutes to do that. Left or right? They both feel equally evil. Let's just try left first. 252. As you pass beneath the curiously deformed pines, the oppressive darkness closes in upon you, seeming to crush the very breath from your lungs. I didn't realize this was the pines path. Uh-oh. Spot hidden. Okay, well, this series could end quicker than I thought. Easy spot hidden, 16. So this is 5 minutes and gives me a couple research points, which I wish that it did not give me research points. 125 research points. 273 for that success. Okay. Oh geez, sanity check, guys. It's coming. All right. As you walk, you notice the limbs of the pine trees are swaying suggestively in the breeze, and then you realize there is no breeze. Oh my god, the trees are moving. Okay, sanity check. Yeah, guys. Okay, so I have a 70 sanity. I have to roll beneath that. Yes, 34. Okay, pretty cool. Success 293 and another 2 research points. They're really trickling these out. 2 research points. 293. We will go insane at some point. Don't worry. It will take 1d6 rounds to run this dangerous path, and for each round you sustained 1d2 points of damage for the lashing branches unless you make a successful dodge roll. If you survive and break through, turn to page 226. If your hit points are reduced to 0, find your fate at 296. Oh, geez. Okay, we have an okay amount of hit points. Hey, Merkleby. I might die in this tree here. So it takes 1d6 rounds to run the path. So let's see how many rounds we're looking at. Only 2. That's easy. Okay. For each one, I take 1d2 points of damages unless I can make a dodge roll. So the first dodge roll, and I have a 50 dodge. Let's see. First dodge roll, I fail. That's a 90 even. Second dodge roll, I succeed. That is a 23. So I take 1d2 points of damage, and that's 2. So let's go ahead and move my hit points down to 12. But I did make it. So I've survived to 226, and this gives me some research points as well. 129. Feel like a little bit like I should have leveled up more on my way here or something. So 226, and I did not die. I could have died in those trees. And we will visit the doctor, get patched up when we head back. Quite abruptly, you are free of the foreboding pines. You stand uneasily at the edge of a large clearing at the very heart of Grimrock Isle. Before you stands Grim House, looming, malignant, gothic, a hulk of oak and granite, a place which knows nothing of human happiness, but much of terror and death. The manse seems to glare at you, challenging you to enter. Will you accept the challenge at 247, or explore the rest of the island at 394? 3 research points for seeing Grimrock Isle, and it costs 10 minutes. So we're at 132 research points. We are at 850 AM. Okay. So, I mean, I can see the appeal of both. Eventually, we're going to want to do both. I think we should probably go to the house now. We have 8 minutes left of the episode. So, worth a shot to check out the house. But that means the episode might end with some spooky shit on like a spooky cliffhanger, which I guess is no bad thing. So we accept the challenge. 247. Let's fuck you, Grimrock House. We're going. Oh, geez. Okay. Crossing the wide, dilapidated front porch, you approach the warped and age-worn double doors of the mansion. From here, you see that you can cross the lawn to the east in front of the house to 367. You can go across the lawn to the west to 350. If you've already unlocked the front doors, you may enter the house at 291. If not, try your keys by rolling your luck. And it is a luck minus 10%. So it looks like the doors are shitty and old, so the keys that we have might not work. So I'm trying to get under 60 on luck. Which we do, easily. I got a 6. So, that's 5 minutes. 8:55 AM. We're able to go in the front door, which is good. Success, 218. Presumably good. It might just be more monsters. $218. Finding the correct key, you insert into the lock, which releases with rusty reluctance. Half luck. Another luck roll. So half luck is only 35. They really don't want me going in this front door. But joke's on them. That's 35 exactly. So successes count towards this. Hopefully this isn't a bad success. To 215. The interior of the house is a gloomy maze of shadow and light, and you will most certainly need some form of illumination to find your way in the darkness. Lighting your lantern, you discover that you are standing in 291. Ooh, it's a suspense. I have to look around. As it's 5 minutes to stand. It's now 9 a.m. And we turn to 291 to see what we're standing in. Hopefully the mouth of Cthulhu. Hopefully not. This is the entry hall. 2 warped double doors open to the front porch at 265, while a wide archway in the north wall offers access to the deeper gloom of the mansion's interior at 209. Flanking the archway stand 2 statues of hostile, foreboding griffins carved from dark mahogany, which seem to glare straight at you with ill intent. Along the east and west walls run tarnished brass rails where guests could hang their coats, as indeed something hangs on the rack to the east at 287. 5 minutes. So we have a lot of different places we can check out there. This is now turning into uninvited, quite literally. Let's see what is hanging on that coat rack at 287. The object hanging from the rack is an ankle-length raccoon coat of a style popular with the college crowd. It appears to be quite new, and feels soft to the touch. Who could have left it there? These college students who disappeared here, perhaps. Spot hidden. Let's see if I make that spot hidden. See if I find the secret. The secret is the raccoon is still alive. Yeah. That's going to be 27. Spot hidden success. 263. Yay! Spiders! Hundreds and hundreds of black bloated bodies within their 1,000 legs are all over you. Did I get that right? Is the coat full of spiders? Oh, success 262. Okay. The coat is not full of spiders. But just know there's spiders down the way. And that's where it does the sanity thing, where if you have arachnophobia, you're worse at that. But I don't have okay. As you turn away from the strange mystery, you notice something unusual. Or at least you think you notice something. Those two griffin statues by the archway are glaring at you, but when you entered, weren't they both facing the front doors? Rubbing your eyes to clear them, you look up and see that the griffins' heads are back in their original positions, glaring balefully at the front doors. Or did they even really change? Uncertain of your answer, return to 291 to resume your tour of the house. You have 5 research points for noticing that the statues in the house are alive and are watching me, which is good and spooky. Return to 291. So we got 3 minutes left. Let's do one more entry, and then we'll call it. So we can go out to the front porch, which we just came from. We can go deeper into the mansion, I think is what we want. 209. Past those scary griffins. Hopefully they are not a trap. It did not give me a chance to check for traps, so I'm assuming it's not. 209. Oh, geez. You have entered the main hall. A wide archway in the south opens onto 291, while a grand ornate staircase ascends before you to 229. On the north wall on either side of the stairs is a narrow doorway. The one on the left will take you to 280, while the one on the right takes you to 283. And we're making a POW check. So POW times 3, which is 42. That's a failure. I got 6, and this is going to probably drain my POW. This is the feeling of oppressiveness in the house. It takes 5 minutes to feel that. POW, failure. Success 390. Failure. Dash dot dash. I don't know what that means. So that probably means some kind of stat drain, or so I think that means it took 5 minutes because of the failure. So I think that's how they're doing stat drain, is maybe time drain, but it's actually, we're coming up on time. It's 4 p.m. So that's a good time to call it, because then I can see if I can find rules that refer to that. Where we'll be coming in next time, we are in the house. We are being oppressed by the forces. These statues are watching us. There are spiders about later. And I think this will probably, with the way time's moving by, especially if time is how POW works in this, we will probably spend today exploring the house. And hopefully, if we end up having to come back, it will also be okay, and it won't break the economy. So hopefully we're not stumbling onto the end boss. We were sent here to investigate the house, which makes me think that going to the house right away is not the craziest thing somebody could do. So, thanks for watching. I will be back next week. I'm feeling better from last time I was sick. This week I'm feeling better, so I will be back next week. I think I'm good for every Friday up until March, where I have vacation. So thank you everybody for watching, and we will be back to Grimhouse or Grimrock Isle. Let me save my things in 1 week's time. So thank you for joining. Bye.